Good morning. Make it short, sweet, simple. You guys got an email yesterday. I got several emails saying I'd like to have had more than 1 day's notice for it. Tried December 8th. It's been on the website since. How many of you guys go to the website on a daily basis? Weekly basis? Monthly? Quarterly? How many have never been? Okay. We used to have a thing called a phone chain, an email chain, or was it a cable? I don't remember now.
It was email.
Those days are,
hearing business.
yeah, oh, I went back that far. I was Pony Express brought my first assignments.
You went there earlier?
Those days of hand-holding, of pleading, of getting down on one knee and begging, would you please, please, please put your availability up so I can assign the games? Those days are over. Everyone raise your hand. Well, that one. By the way, that's not a normal situation for your shoulder to be in. This is a right-hand turn. Or this is a right-hand turn if you're in England. Put your hands down. You are, everybody that had your hand up, you are now accountable and responsible for yourself, by yourself, and to us. Okay? The dog ate my laptop, not going to cut it. My mom, my dad, the butler, the maid, my nanny,
My daddy.
Uncle Frank, Aunt Mary, all of those excuses that were exemplified in the past will not work. You and you alone are accountable and responsible to the program. As a result, there's some good things that come from that, and there are some precociously scary things that I believe that's under the category of failure to follow the announcements. Anyway, you will live and die by PSAsoccerreferees.com. Does everyone understand that now? If you don't go to that rascal on a daily basis yet, I strongly, did I mention strongly, urge you to do that on a daily basis. It takes what, 2 seconds, 10 seconds? For the majority of you, if you will spend 1/10 of the time that you do on Facebook and Twitter, we'll be in good shape. Okay? Not showing up, not having your own private schedule printed out and in your bag or on your little communicating device will be a problem. Not showing up for consecutive meetings. I think you read the email. Did anybody need me to explain that any further? Something else that disappeared. You guys, 2 years ago, as a body, you asked for fewer meetings. You got it. They went from every other week to every 3 weeks. You know what happened to attendance as a result of that? It went from 3 to 2. Less meetings, less attendance. That doesn't figure. You asked for it, you got it. All right, so now I give you the option. Show up or be reduced monetarily eventually, because 5th grade games don't pay as much as 4th grade games don't pay as much as 5th grade. And if you do that enough times, 1st grade surely doesn't pay as much as 8th grade does. Again, that's your accountability, that's your responsibility. How many of you scored 100 on the research? How many of you scored 100 on the entry-level test?
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
The second time.
Oh.
No, you really did.
He did, he
First
did.
time.
Awesome.
That was how many years ago? How'd you do it at OS research?
Bear in mind that if you got 100, one could theoretically expect you to get 100% of your calls correct. Ain't gonna happen either. Who's a better referee, somebody that scored 100 or somebody that eked by with an 80?
Somebody that got by with an 80.
We don't know. That depends on you.
Can I jump in here for a second?
No. When I'm done, you can jump in. If you don't come to the meetings, first of all, you won't know we're talking about you. That's it. Scratch that out. You won't get the information. We had 2 study halls prior to research. Everybody read those announcements? Do you know how many showed up for both study halls combined? 4. And what was the average on our research? Low 80s. You get the drift of that? You didn't spend enough time doing what you should have done. That's review. But that's up to you. In the future, there'll be a quiz at each meeting. It'll have its benefits and it'll have its negatives. If you score less than 80%, and you have missed your last meeting prior to that, you will have downgraded yourself one age group. These are going to be very basic, very simple, kind of like, is the light on or off now? That type of thing. Maybe. It may be one essay question. Maybe. The reason we went to the fill in the blank 100 questions was to know how many blanks you could fill in. We've gone from, gosh, I think the low was like a 31 or a 32 on the entry level test. Yeah, 26. You could watch a half of a quarter of an eighth of the game and learn that much knowledge from it. It shows that you're not applying yourself and that you're at the end of the 2-week period, you're waiting for that monetary remuneration known as a paycheck. Not so much going to happen anymore either. You're going to have to toe the mark and toe the line. The other thing that spring has brought us, again, he said sadly, we now have more teams than we've ever had before. We now have an 8th grade competitive full-size league. We have a 3rd grade girls full-size competitive league. Now all we need is some full-size competitive referees. So those of you that are not here, we need you. Those of you that are here, we need you a lot. Are there any questions on any of the material that was on that email that was sent out yesterday? You're up.